Alright, man called Gavar. A little background information on me. I was born in New Jersey. Middle class Italian family. Second generation immigrants. My grandparents immigrated from Sicily in the 30s. Settled in a mill town, Paterson, New Jersey. Got a job in a mill. My grandfather did. Traditional Italian values. Woman stayed at home. She had 4 kids, one of which was my father. He was the second oldest. His oldest brother was a doctor. He became an accountant. His younger brother became a teacher, and the youngest sister became a registered practical nurse. And they all pretty much stayed close to New Jersey coast. We ended up living in a little town called Oak Ridge, where I spent most of my, we moved from Paterson when I was entering grade school, and I spent the rest of my schooling years in that little town of Oak Ridge. I left my hometown because there wasn't much opportunity there. My parents divorced when I was entering high school, so it was very traumatic for me, so I ended up joining the Navy and did 4 years in the military, the U.S. United States Navy. Honorable discharge. After that, I moved to Florida, spent about 20 years just living a riotous, decadent, very hedonistic lifestyle in South Florida. Almost killed me. I'm glad Yahoo allowed me to survive those years. Just reckless living, just crazy. Had no focus, no direction. I came from a broken family, so I didn't really have a lot of... My father took no interest in me, so I didn't really have a role model or any kind of discipline to move in a direction of success. I always wondered what life was all about. Never really figured it out. I was a late bloomer. My childhood was marked by injury, and I was, at the age of 6 years old, injured in a tragic accident at a construction site where my mouth was severely damaged, resulting in my teeth being disformed for most of my young adult life. The Navy fixed all that, and I was once again able to eat properly. I remember a lot of memories of growing up, sitting at the dinner table, being mocked by my father because I couldn't chew my meat. My teeth were so malfunctioned, so misformed, that I couldn't chew my meat. And he always cooked it overdone, well done, very leatherish. So I would often spit it out on the plate because I couldn't grind it down small enough to eat it, to dissolve it and swallow it. So I would usually resort to rice or pasta or overcooked vegetables. So my nutritional value wasn't really high, especially after my mom left. My mom had been the one who cooked food for me. She made me breakfast every morning. I was kind of mama's boy. So when she left freshman year of high school, I was very traumatized. And I was picked on a lot, called Skinny Vinny. My given name was Vincent. So they called me Skinny Vinny. I was a late bloomer, like I said. Navy fixed all my teeth problems, and when I got to Florida, I kind of came out of, I guess you could say I matured quickly, and I discovered women. And they became a focal point of my life for my 20s and 30s. Unfortunately, I married the wrong woman. I married a woman who was 10 years my senior, and met her at church, but she was not a very godly woman, I found out. She basically tricked me into marrying her. We had broken up twice, been engaged to marry twice, called off the wedding. I didn't feel like I should marry this woman, but ultimately she tricked me and seduced me and lassoed me into a web of deceit, making me believe I was the father of a child that she had, but it turned out it was not my child. So fast forward 18 years of harassment by the Child Support Enforcement Division. I was traumatized by the government, and I have a history of government trauma, government agencies messing with me, and that plays into what you'll find out more about me with regard to falling down a rabbit hole around 2009. Whole different story. So Florida was 20 years of basically riotous, hedonistic living. I was a Christian, but Christian doctrine teaches you that you can do whatever you want. And you can say a prayer, and Jesus will forgive you. Far cry from the faith I discovered in 2009, when all that fog of government dysfunction from the child support kind of faded away, but it was quickly replaced with a DUI that wasn't a DUI. Basically, I got pulled over on the way home from a Sunday evening watching some football with a friend. I'd only had 2 beers the entire night, but my friend had left a roach in the ashtray, so the cop, I didn't know my rights at that point. I wasn't a student of rights, so I didn't assert myself, and I allowed him to do whatever he wanted, and he found a roach in my ashtray, and so that began a 3-year debacle, costing me about $3,000 with lawyers. Finally, it resulted in me turning in my license and getting a laptop and internet service. Roughly 2009, I fell down the rabbit hole, began researching law and government, and began the study that has resulted in the man I have become now, Alternatus Privatus, constitutional enforcement specialist, and I'm eager to share what I've learned with people. So that landed me in 2009. I'll pick up in the next section. I'll pick up and talk about my spiritual experience meeting Yahushua, coming to know him as my Messiah, my master, my teacher. You're looking at a picture of me and my best friend. As you can see the way he looks up at me, he is my soulmate. I don't think I'll ever meet a woman that can compete with this guy. So, sorry ladies, I'm a eunuch for the kingdom now, and you'll pick up on that story in the next version. So come on back for a little more about who I am and what made me the precocious son bitch that I become, and I'm not going to take no as an answer from any government slob anymore. Come on back for the next part. Shalom, shalom. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.